Hey, everybody. What's going on? Rob Cesternino back with a very special interview for you here today. A real treat for me and the listeners to be back here reunited with the Black Widow of Survivor, of course, the winner of Survivor Micronesia, the two-time finalist, the Duchess of Deception, the Survivor Mount Rushmore member. She is a mother. She is also mother. She's also the author of the brand new book, Nice Girls Don't Win. It's Parvati Shallow. Parvati, how are you?
Rob, what an intro. Very thorough.
Yes, thank you. And what a career, Parvati. Now, how I looking back on almost 20 years of reality TV debauchery, all sorts of different things, but now author we could add to your title. How are you, Parvati?
Oh my God. Yeah, it's wild to be adding author to my title because I do feel like Survivor found me at a time in my life when it's like the stars aligned and I was meant to do that show.
Yeah.
But I sort of fell into it. But I always knew for my whole life that I wanted to write a book. And I've never been able to do it until now. This is my first book, but also I don't think a memoir would have worked for me maybe 20 years ago. It might have been too
Well, you hadn't
soon.
done anything yet.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a lot. There's a lot of action in the book.
A lot of action in the book. And I'm so glad that you referenced your beginning, because I wanted to share this because I know the book goes into your childhood and the very beginning. But I want to go back to something that just came up recently, the very beginning of your Survivor career. This was a tweet. Did you see this? This is Hag Lover on Twitter posted this, a gif of the opening shots of you. She saw the camera pan to her and locked the F in. I'm crying so bad.
I saw that too.
You
I
knew.
love the era that we're in with memes and gifs. Like, it's so funny how people are interpreting these moments. Yeah, they're not wrong. Of course, I did see the camera come to me and I was like, now's my
Hmm.
time
Yeah.
to have my moment.
And it was the beginning of a legacy, of a reality
Yeah,
TV career.
crazy, right? I never thought that. When I first agreed to go play Survivor, I was like, one and done. You just get the experience to have the adventure of a lifetime one time. I couldn't believe they called me to go back a second time. And, the rest is history from there. But that's why I think, Rob, some things are meant to be in our lives. And that's one of the reasons why I wrote the book, because I was trying to like put the pieces of my life together in a puzzle that I could understand because it seemed really kind of haphazard and chaotic when I was starting to write the books. I just filed for divorce. I just moved into my new spot by myself for the first time. I'm splitting custody of my child and I'm like, how did I get here? I'd never stopped long enough. I've always been running and going really fast in my life, like ever since I was very young. So to stop and really examine what Survivor was and how much it resembled my childhood. Like, I grew up in a commune in Florida. We had a Hindu spiritual guru. We had fire ceremonies at night. I was running around in the woods with the other kids like a tribe. I'm like, oh my God, I basically was playing Survivor when I was a kid. So no wonder I was so good at it naturally. It just felt so right to me. So it was fun to write the book because I could weave those threads together for the first time ever.
And you've written the book. I know you took a couple of years to write this book, but on the other side of writing the book, I feel like that we're in this new Parvati renaissance. Do you feel like that the act of writing the book and going back and looking at your life up until that point set you up for this period that we're in now?
Yeah, I think so, and I think it really set me free because I didn't know what I was holding on to until I wrote my way through it. And then writing all those stories down in a way that where I'm telling the story for a reader to understand made me look at myself from the outside so I could write the stories, and I had to kind of relive them as I was writing them. But then in the editing process, everything's being refined. It's being sort of like carved up like a statue or something. And then it's released out into the world, or it's at least with my publisher. Now it's going to be in your hands soon, and your readers, your community's hands
In the
soon.
hands of the readers.
Oh my God, in the hands of the readers. Please don't tell me what you think if it's bad. Just tell me all the good things. But it has like really liberated me from any of that kind of heaviness or
Mhm.
any judgment that I had on myself for the mistakes that I'd made. And I feel like I'm in this new era where I can do anything I want. I can like really create whatever I want at this point, and it's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Like
I'm
like
doing drag
Survivor,
shows.
you're in the new era now. This is your new era.
This is Parvati's new era. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Um, you mentioned your childhood, and in the new era of Survivor, there's a lot of backstory that we get of all the contestants. We learn about like the things for what they were like, what they overcame growing up. This was never part of your story on Survivor. The background that you came up from. I knew a little bit about it from knowing you over the years, but what is it like to really share all this in the book?
It was nice. Like, I've never been able to tell my own story. It's always been out of my hands, in the hands of producers or editors or whatever. So for me to be able to tell my story with the things that were happening at the time that I went out and played those games that nobody knows, I was like, wow. I mean, I think I did a pretty good job playing Survivor, especially given the things that were going on in my personal life at the time that I was dealing with. So it's amazing, and it's really empowering to be able to claim my own narrative because everyone's got, I'm the Black Widow, I'm the Mistress of Murder, I'm the Duchess of Deception. Like, people think of me in the way that they've seen me operate in these games, which has been over 20 years, 4 seasons, now coming up on 5 with Australian Survivor coming out, and Traders and Deal or No Deal. That's it, but it's like those are such little tiny versions of me in a certain container that has specific rules, and the rules of these games are compete, get ahead, lie, cheat, steal, manipulate, backstab, like pull people in, cut their throats. I don't do that in my regular life. So it's kind of nice to be able to be more of a whole and complete person and to share the wisdom from the experiences that I've had with other people.
So the book, I know, talks a lot about your journey and some of the healing that you've done. Do you feel like that in any part of the way that these reality TV experiences led to healing, or there is stuff that you needed to heal from these experiences?
I mean, it's both. I don't think you can really tease any of it apart. Like, I also needed to go back and look at my childhood and examine that for like the helpful and unhelpful aspects of those experiences. Same with Survivor. I don't think any experience is good or bad. It's just is what it is. And then we make it mean something. We
Mhm.
tell the story of, I was betrayed, I was wronged, I was stabbed in the back, I was robbed. It's like, are those stories you're telling yourself helpful for you? Are they energizing? Are they draining your energy? Are they empowering or disempowering? So I sort of just look at everything as like it's just neutral. And then how can you take the things that you've gone through in your life that have been hard or painful and sort of make them helpful? That's kind of how I live my life. It's like I just like dig around in a pile of shit for a diamond. And I'm like, "Oh,
And sometimes
got
you find a
one."
hidden immunity idol.
Exactly. You got to look for the idol in a jungle. How are you going to find it?
Yeah.
You have to be looking for the prize.
Now, Parvati, of course, you're always labeled as the Black Widow, but I feel like that moniker has been like a little bit of a double-edged sword for you. Is there's good and there's bad that comes with that, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. I wrote about this in the book too, because it wasn't something that I set out trying to create this character. It just happened naturally in Micronesia because we had a girls' alliance and we were voting out the guys, and I just said, we're the Black Widow Brigade. And then it stuck. And people were so afraid of a women's alliance from that point forward that now the Black Widow has become this sort of legendary, terrifying her power. It was really hard for me to date after that.
Yeah.
Like I wrote about that too. It's yeah, I mean, there's also a big surprise for people at the end of the book with regards to the Black Widow. So I'll
Okay.
just tease.
All right. No spoilers, please. Okay.
No, never.
Okay. Um, but can you talk a little bit about what that group of what you did in Micronesia, what has that meant to other people from, I know you are always, out meeting people, and what do they say to you about watching that alliance together in Micronesia?
Well, I've had people come up to me and tell me that I've given them the courage to be themselves, the confidence to see like it's okay to be assertive, it's okay to be strong and be a woman and be sexy and flirty and use that kind of sexual energy that we all have. But for women, we've been vilified for using it. It's sort of like you can use your brains, you can use your athletic ability, but you can't use your sexual abilities to get ahead in life. And it's like, well, why? Because that's kind of the one thing that women have over men. So I think, hey, if you got it, use it. Like we need to use all the power that we have to create the best lives and the best chance for ourselves. It's not a level playing field for women or men. So I think go for it.
The title of the book, Nice Girls Don't Win. Now, I know the first part of this is the story with Sandra, where you went back and forth, and this has been, I think, pretty well chronicled, right? We don't need to explore that, right?
Right. The feud with Sandra.
The feud with Sandra, the beef with Squash, but that's where the first part of the title comes from. It's the second part of the title that I am curious about. That Nice Girls Don't Win, how I burned it all down to claim my power. Can you speak to what did you burn down?
There were a lot of boxes I was trying to fit myself in to be liked and approved of. Like I wanted uh recognition from other people. I wanted validation. I wanted people to say I was good. I wanted to look like a responsible, intelligent woman. And um a lot of the messaging that I had gotten was that like reality TV is it's not a like real job. It's not something that you can be proud of. And the way that I won reality TV was by using my sexuality and flirty, also intelligence and intuition, but what people gave me credit for was flirting. So I was like, "Oh god, like I'm just it's not working." Like all these ways I'm trying to get people to tell me I'm good enough, it's making me miserable. And so I tried to fit myself into a heterosexual monogamous marriage. That also didn't work out for me. It was like this path that society tells us is the way to success and happiness in life just wasn't working for me. So I really had to like drop a bomb in my own life to kind of demolish that and be willing to lose pretty much everything that I cared about, especially like family. I wanted a family so bad, Rob. Like I just had this dream of a nuclear family, like husband, wife, kids, like that home, Christmases, the whole thing. and it just was not working. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to just burn it all down, and I'm going to see what's left in the ashes. And if I can pick out any remains that will be helpful for me to rebuild my new life, great. But what it gave me was like what kind of scorched earth thing my life gave me was the ability to start completely fresh. And there is a chapter in the book in the third section that really goes into detail describing what that process looked like for me, because it wasn't straightforward. It was messy and gritty and like griefy, but also really fun and playful. And I don't know, I just feel like I reclaimed myself, like a phoenix kind of rising after I decided none of the rules that of this game that the world has set up for me work for me. I'm different. It's not working. So I got to just do things my way.
I know in the book you talk about that there was a descent that you needed to climb out of. At what point were you really feeling like that you were at the bottom of a pit that you needed to ascend from?
Well, in 2020, so we had COVID, we had the lockdown. My marriage was just not working at that point. And then my younger brother died in November of 2020. And it rocked me. Like it was a shocking death. He died from an overdose, a drug overdose. And I just was like, oh my God, I've never lost someone that close and precious to me. And he was my younger brother. He was sort of like much younger. So he also felt like my own child in a way. We were super close, but had had issues since his addiction connecting, because it's hard to connect with someone who's in active addiction. So I hadn't seen him in a bit. And yeah, it was just like really awful. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave this marriage because life is fleeting and precious. And that really woke me up. And then when I decided I was gonna leave the marriage, my husband was diagnosed with cancer. So I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can leave someone who's sick. What if he dies in the middle of a divorce? How will I be okay with that? Like, how will I explain that to my child? So I was really I was really just so distraught, like beside myself there. And then when I finally did decide to file for divorce, it was like, it was a real reckoning for me, because I was like, okay, I am leaving someone who is actively being treated for cancer. I'm going to look like such a horrible person for doing this. But at that point, I just knew that if I stayed in the marriage, I would I would have to be giving up my soul, because it just wasn't right for me. So I was like, it's either my soul or this marriage and trying to make this work. So I ended up choosing my soul and I left. And then I lost like his family, which was my support system and my tribe to help with my kid. I had to go through the process of working with divorce lawyers and dealing with all of that. It was really difficult. So it was like probably a 2-year, 3-year
Yeah.
descent, learning about divorce, learning about loss, um, the killing the dream I had of a family. I was like, well, I'll never have it in the way I thought I could have it or in the way I wanted it. So I had to kill that dream to move forward. So I was just in deep grief for a few years, which I mean, it was a complete like homecoming to myself, because I've never really given myself the space to have those kind of feelings. I'm just sort of like, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, move on. But I couldn't move on from this. It was too many things at once that were too difficult.
And thank you for taking us through all of that. What did you do then to get out of it?
Many things. And I wrote about it in the book. The book really is a journey from start to finish. It moves the reader from survival mode, kind of running, racing through, doing everything the way that we have done it in the past, or trying to fit yourself into society. And then kind of like this whole breaking down. The breakdown is really important. Like you kind of have to have it to get to the other side, because you have to know that you can let yourself lose things that you love and care about so much in order to open yourself up to love again. So for me, that like breakdown in the grief process was essential. So as I'm going through that, I started looking for healers to help me. I had like an incredible community. Like life just started giving me opportunities and support everywhere I looked, because I was looking for it. I was like, I need help. I need to focus on healing. I hired a rolfer who did like structural integration, who helped move the grief and anger and resentment, all that stuff out of my body. I worked with an acupuncturist, a somatic therapist. I did breath work. I read books. I had a community of other divorcees, like single moms, and we would share information with each other. I just did like all of this stuff for myself, that I paid so much attention to myself, and it felt kind of self-indulgent, but I did it. And I was like, I'm just going to give myself full permission, because I never want to recreate another situation in my life where I'm in that same boat again. So I was like, I have to know exactly how I got here so that I can make different choices. And I need to be fundamentally different from here on out.
Was there one thing that you did especially that you feel like worked, or was it the combination of everything?
It was truly everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I work with coaching clients. I'm a life coach too. So I have private clients that I work with, and I'll lead groups sometimes. And I share um, techniques with them, or I'll guide them towards a certain path, because it's not a one size fits all. That's why I offer everything to the reader in the book that worked for me. So you can read the book and you can kind of pick and choose what resonates for you, and start there and see what works. And then you'll go on your own journey. But yeah, for me, I needed, I needed a lot. I was going through a lot, so I like really needed a lot. And I think that was part of the medicine for me too, because I used to be one of those people that was like, you gotta burn it to earn it. Like you gotta earn your treat days and your cheat days and whatever. But now I'm like, I just treat myself constantly all the time.
Hmm. Yeah. I like that. I'm gonna borrow that. Okay. I'm gonna tell
Yeah,
Nicole,
take
hey, it's time for me to treat myself finally.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm putting myself first, family. Got it?
Yeah. You're
That's
gonna
a
Nicole's gonna love that, because then she's gonna be like, okay, well, if you do it, I'm gonna do it too.
oh no, listen, she's already on it. Don't worry about
And
it.
then your kids are gonna have to take care of themselves.
Yeah, they're on it too. Uh Parv, so I want to go back to your early days where you got involved in the survivor world. I don't know if I know the story of what led you to applying to be on. So I know what you said, you thought you would be a natural for it, but what made you decide that this was the right opportunity?
This story is also in my book, and I'm really excited about it, because I wrote it as a scene, and it's really fun. It's one of my favorite scenes in the book. I was recruited for The Amazing Race because I was boxing at the time. I'd like gotten this real job in
Mhm.
PR after I graduated college. And I was like, I hate this job. So I left after 3 months, and then I started waiting tables, and I started boxing, and competing in boxing matches in Hollywood. And I was like running with a group of friends, and one of the guys was a casting associate for The Amazing Race. So he called me for that. I brought in two friends, and they made me choose one. And then we went through casting, went to finals at the network, and then they cut us at the very end. And I was devastated. And I was like, that's it. My dream is dead. I'll never be on TV. And then, like a month later, they called me for Survivor, and I hadn't seen the show before. So
Mhm.
I mean, I'm just a say yes to adventure
Mhm.
person, which is why I said yes, but I had no idea what I was getting myself into. That's why you saw me on the pirate ship looking all sultry, like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah. I know that one of the things you talk about in the book is the LA casting rooms. Is that the stuff about going on The Amazing Race?
There was, yeah, there's a scene about going to the hotel and going into the casting room and being interviewed for The Amazing Race,
Mhm.
which was that was really the audition. That was like my initiation into LA casting, what that process is like. And then when I was called to do Survivor, I had to go back to the hotel and stay there for a bit while we did the interviews and stuff like that. But at that point, I already knew they wanted me. So it was a little bit easier to move through it that time.
Yeah. Do you feel like that the experience with The Amazing Race gave you the confidence that you needed to get Survivor?
Maybe because I was like, well, why would they call me if I wasn't a right fit?
Mhm. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
just your
I was like,
friend that
this,
was a dud. Was that what happened?
I
Whatever happened to your friend that was going to be on The Amazing Race?
well, they both live in Georgia now. That I took 2 girls in with me who I'd gone to college with,
Yes.
and they wanted a blonde. They said, "Bring a blonde with you."
Mhm.
So I was like, "Okay." So they were both blonde, so I brought them both in, and it didn't work out. They stayed in LA for a bit longer, and then they both moved back to Georgia. They both have families now. They're living their Georgia lives.
Yeah. How did you end up in Los Angeles?
I wanted to be on TV. I was in high school and I was like, "I wanna be on television." I wanted to be Brooke Burke from Wild On.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
That was like my dream.
Yeah.
And then I moved out. I got this job in PR, and a few of my girlfriends were moving out to LA from Georgia, so I tagged along with them, and my
Mhm.
boyfriend from college also came with me.
Yeah.
So we had a little crew.
You had a whole crew, and then did you lose touch with all those people while you were here?
There yeah, none of them are here anymore. The
Mhm.
boyfriend and I didn't work out, so he's been back in Georgia. He has 4 kids.
Wow.
I see all these people on Instagram though, so that's I mean, it's kind of cool. You can be a voyeur on into what life would have been like had you made different choices.
Mhm. Yeah. That's one of the things of that in the old days, you never had that. You just like, "Okay, I guess I never whatever happened to those people?" Now you
You
can
can find
see.
out.
You
Yeah.
can see. Part now, do you still follow Survivor in the new era?
I watched Kenzie's season
Yes.
and Charlie's.
Yes.
Um, and that's the latest. I like have started to watch this past season, but I don't have anyone in my life who's like really enthused about it.
Mhm.
So I need someone to be a super fan
Yeah.
for me to get excited and watch it because it's not like vacation TV for me.
Mhm.
It's work to watch Survivor.
Yes, it's work because of all of the things that it conjures, or it's just you're not that into it?
Yeah, I think it's just because I love like drag race. I think it's incredible what the drag queens do with their style and their dancing and all that. I'm like, I want to watch people doing different stuff. I think because I've been in the world of Survivor for so long, like I have a 20-year history with the show and it's complicated. It's not like going on vacation. When I watch Survivor, I'm watching people play this game that I'm like, "Oh god, are they really gonna make that choice?" You know, like,
Draining.
and I
Yeah.
can't give them any advice.
Yeah. Now, I know that later on this year, there's going to be a season of Australian Survivor that you participated in. What was the appeal to go and do Survivor for the fifth time?
Well, they called me and they said, "How would you feel if we said you could play the best game in the world against an international cast in, like, 16 days?" And I said, "Sign me up." And it was in Samoa, which is a place I have unfinished business, Rob,
Oh,
as you
yes,
know.
yes, yeah, yes. That we happen to be. It's 15 years since Heroes versus Villains, and we happen to be doing a rewatch. So I'm very familiar with your work there.
Okay, well, I have some serious unfinished business in Samoa. The last time I left there, I left something very important
Hmm.
to me. So I said, I'm going to go get that back. And also, I'm a mom. So I have a young kid that I need to take care of. It's really hard to leave for, I mean, for a 39-day season or like a regular Australian season, which is like 50 days or something crazy, that would not work for my life anymore. So when you said it's a shortened game with international players from around the world in Samoa, I instantly was a yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I know some people complain about, hey, short, the season's too short, but for the players, it's like, hey, that's better for my schedule, right?
It works for my schedule. If you want to get returning players who are vets of Survivor, do a shorter season. Like you're still going to get
Yeah.
epic gameplay. It's
Well,
this
Survivor,
season.
they shortened from 39 days to 26 days, but then they stopped bringing back any returning players.
Yeah, I don't know what their choices are their choices. I have nothing to say about their choices.
Yeah. Until now. And now I hear people are going to come back. But nobody's come back since they've gone to 26 days, except for Bruce. Do you know who Bruce is?
Medical evac, Bruce?
Yes. Yes. He hit his head.
Oh, yeah. But I
Yeah.
thought you were talking about the other Bruce who I saw at LAX the other day,
Oh, Bruce Kenna guy?
who was wearing a hat, a signed Survivor hat. He had signatures all over. I was like, can't miss that guy. I was like, were you
Yes.
medically evacuated because you couldn't go to the bathroom? He's like, yep,
Yes, that's true. Yeah. Uh, Parv, I wish I had a good image to show you, but of course, you have dominated in the hang on a pole challenge in the past. They just did it on Survivor this past season, and it lasted for like 10 minutes because they got rid of all of the grooves in the pole for people to hang on to. What do you think of that?
How do people hang on to a pole with no grooves?
I think they just hold on for 10 minutes and that's it.
Oh gosh. Well, that sounds rough. Like you're gonna
Hmm.
get splinters down your whole front sliding down that thing.
Yeah.
Well, I know they
But you made it
stopped
look so
doing,
easy.
yeah, they stopped doing the endurance challenges that last a really long time
Hmm.
for whatever reason. Maybe they're tight on time. They're shortening the days, they're
Shorten the
shortening the
days. They got
challenge.
to get to tribal council. So
They're like,
yeah, they don't have all day to do
TikTok.
some of these immunity challenges. But that was such a big part of your game, your ability to have endurance and be able to have the stamina to stay out there for these long endurance challenges. How do you do it?
Um, I think it's in my DNA. I do. Like my dad was a yogi. I wrote this in my book as well. Like he was a yogi and he would sit in meditation for 12 hours sometimes in
Yeah.
his New York apartment before they moved down to Florida and joined the commune. So I just think like there's a stoicism that I've inherited from my ancestry and in my DNA. And then also, I think there's something about me that is I'm very good at, I can dissociate. I can like, if there's pain in my body, I can bounce to a new place. Like I'll
Yeah.
be in a tree, I'll be on the butterfly that's flying, or like I can outlast people because I'm really good at suffering. Like I can suffer so well, which I think is one of the reasons why I was so good at Survivor, because a lot of that game is about suffering and not snapping when
Yeah.
you're really suffering. And in those endurance challenges, there's that aspect of like the mental sort of stoic nature that you need. And then also the ability to control your mind. So you're not going into like, ouch, this hurts.
Mhm.
When is this going to be over? Because if you're going into those kind of thoughts, you're already done. You've lost the challenge. But if you start floating above the challenge, if you float above the pain, then you can hover on one of those poles forever.
So to bring it back to real life and some of the things that you talk about in the book, the ability to suffer and dissociate, is that a problem that people have in the real world where they're suffering and they just like dissociate from what's actually going on? Or is that what we need to do to actually get through our day-to-day lives?
I think it's a yes, and I think it's both. It's like we do need all of our survival adaptations. Like you have to be able to dissociate if something is truly overwhelming and so painful that you can't cope with your day to day, especially if you're a parent, you're taking care of kids, or if you're working and you have to provide for your family. There are certain things that you have to do, and you got to just get it done. And at the same time, there's also this other layer of like emotional intensity, I think that we're going through in the world right now, where there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of injustice, and it's hard to look at that and then be okay. So how do you titrate the pain so that you can, let's say like you've lost a family member and you're grieving, like how do you grieve? Give yourself space and time and whatever you need to grieve, and then also get up and do the dishes and also drive your kids to school. It really is a skill that I did not inherit and I wasn't taught, so I had to teach it to myself. And really, through writing the book, I learned it very well. So now I know how to feel my feelings so that I don't just like plow through and then get myself into a bigger mess. Because I think that can happen too when we're dissociated, when you're like just plowing through, you're in a job you hate, you're in a marriage that's not working, you're, families, whatever, dealing with whatever it is that you're dealing with, we can just be like, all right, armor up. I just got to get through this. And then if you're not feeling it at all, then that's just going to keep you stuck in this really like kind of miserable situation. So you do have to feel it to be able to move beyond it, but you don't want to overwhelm yourself. So that's why we need support to do that.
You talked about your meditation. Also on Deal or No Deal Island, David, who so masterfully navigated the final, spoiler alert for Dondi, the final Banker's Temple, that he talked about how that he felt like that he was able to see what's inside of the cases. And I'm so interested in these things that are sort of like beyond like our normal understanding. Did you really feel that in terms of like the great success that you've had on reality TV, that you're able to like tap into something else?
Yeah, I go in to these games trusting that the universe has my back, trusting that this game is going to work out for me. This is my game to win. If I set my mind to it, if I say yes, I'm going to go play, I'm playing to win. And because I have that mindset and because I trust that I can win, the first time I played, I did not have this mindset. Cook Islands, I was like, I'm here for the adventure. I had no idea. But the second time I played, I was like, I'm going to win. And because I had that mindset and I trusted that everything was happening for me and for my highest good to help me win, even if something looked bad, like let's say I was tribe swapped away from Amanda and Sari in Micronesia, and I'm on a tribe with Penner and Eliza who already wanted to get rid of me. I'm like, oh, this looks really bad. Like, how am I going to get out of this mess? But in the belief that I'm holding and the knowing that I'm holding is, well, I'm winning this game. So it's already a done deal. I've already won. In some future moment in time, I am the sole survivor.
Mhm.
I have this game won. So whatever has to happen, whatever events have to align to get me there will happen. They'll get
Did
me
you
there.
manifest Penner's injury to his knee?
I can't take credit for that.
Did you manifest Johnny Fairplay getting power bombed by Danny Bonaducci?
Look, don't call me a witch, but
Look, the Black Widow Brigade might have started before the game even happened.
But I'm just saying, no, of course I didn't do those things. I'm not responsible for Fair Play's dental work or Penner's knee injury, but they did work out for my benefit. Sorry, guys.
James's finger. A lot of people got medically evacuated. No, but in all seriousness, that people were conspiring against you before that game even started, right?
Yeah. There was a whole pregame alliance before the game started.
And
Again,
they
on Heroes
still
Villains.
couldn't stop you.
Heroes Villains too. Coach came in like, we're gonna get rid of Parv. I'm like, no, you don't, Coach.
Mm-hmm. And both times you got to the end.
Yeah.
Are these people just bad at conspiring? Or are you just that good?
I honestly think when you have a mindset that is a knowing, this is more powerful than a belief. A knowing is a held state of being. You just operate like this because this is what you know to be true. I know to be true. I know I'm going to win. I know life is going to work out for me. I know the universe is always conspiring to support me. I know everything, even if it looks like a big pile of garbage, is going to end up being good for me in the long run because I am really good at taking very difficult situations in life and turning them into something helpful for me and for other people. It's just sort of like,
You're resilient.
yeah, I am. I am resilient.
Yeah.
And it helps because on Survivor, you get knocked down constantly. So you got to be able to get up and you got to be able to get up fast. And you cannot hold a grudge. If you hold a grudge, you're keeping yourself stuck in the past. So you have to be able to let go of any kind of grudge, forgive, move on. Don't forget, but forgive and move on so that you can be current with the present moment. Because if you're stuck in the past, life isn't going to work for you. You're never going to be able to see what's inside the suitcase.
Do you have a time when you had a grudge against somebody that you let go for your highest good?
Many times.
In reality TV, I'll say.
In reality TV,
because it's not easy.
I have done before. Yes. I'm trying to think of like specific examples, but I mean, well, Jerry
That's
and
I was gonna say that because I'm just watching that season because you and Jerry, and I just spoke to Jerry a couple of weeks ago. You and Jerry did not get off on the right foot in Heroes versus Villains.
right. We did not.
Yeah, but you all came together.
Yeah. And it was what was best for our game, both of us, to be on the right side. And Sandra in Traders,
yeah,
like no grudge there, because if you hold on to that, you're taking like you're robbing yourself of power.
yeah.
Like the power comes from the relationships and the support of the people around you in these games.
Now, had you finished the book by the time you went to go do Traders?
No.
Okay.
There's a chapter in the book from Traders.
Oh, wow.
I had it. Yeah, I only finished the book right after I came back from Deal or No Deal.
Okay. Is Deal or No Deal in the book?
The epilogue.
Epilogue.
Like I came back from Deal or No Deal. I had to rewrite the epilogue because I was in a totally different place. So I wrote a whole new epilogue at that point and then ran off to go do Australian Survivor.
Wow. Okay.
I know.
Well, can I ask you a little bit about your Traders experience? Because I feel like that must have been such a interesting experience for you because you come into it and you don't know that you're going to be a trader. I mean, if I recall, it was that you were not selected originally to be a trader, but then by the end of the first day, I don't remember how you found out that you were going to be picked to be one of the traders.
I got a note before breakfast. Yeah. So they called me in and I was like, oh no, I've been murdered. And
had you already played a day as a faithful and then you became a trader? Yeah.
Yeah. And that was still stressful. I remember being in the car and I was in the car with Sandra, MJ, and Janelle. And the three of them were talking as if they knew for 100% fact, all of us were faithful. And I was like, one of these bitches is a traitor.
Yeah.
I just know it. And I was so wrong. But I was like, I couldn't get past my own distrust already as a faithful. So I was like, oh my God, please, I guess, please make me a traitor. Because I already had so much suspicion on me after the first round table when Larsa was like, there was a sound over here. She's a traitor.
And that's it. That's all they need.
That's all they needed. And they knew my reputation. So they're like, oh, well, don't get close to her. CT, before the game even started, we're having dinner and he's like, oh, I know who you are. I won't be talking to you.
I won't be talking to you.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. This is not
What
going to
is it
go
with
well
these people that they come
for
in
me.
and yeah, even Dr. Will showed up and was trying to blow up your spot?
Yeah. This is the thing. Like, I cannot shake the Black Widow reputation. So I've decided whenever I play a game, I'm going to play with her. So I'm not going to be fighting her. I'm not
Mhm.
going to be pretending like she doesn't exist. I'm going to play with the reputation that I have because it does give me an edge. People are afraid. And when they're afraid, they're also kind of compelled and curious. And some of them think that if they get close to me, I'll protect them. So I just have to play with it. It's not something I can ever get rid
Yeah,
of.
it's so interesting. Like, what is it about the because there's so many different types of reality TV competitors, but the for some reason, yeah, that the Black Widow that all these people, a lot of the men that they just like are really they get very freaked out about this that they're going to like I'm not gonna she's gonna trick me and I'm gonna is it because maybe let me just I'm on work on the fly because
Okay.
the Eric thing was so popularized and he got to be made to look somewhat foolish that do you feel like that's everybody's fear of I don't want to be like the clip of me giving over the necklace a million times?
Yeah. I think people are afraid of being embarrassed and they don't want to look like, they want to look like, I saw through your tricks and I'm
Hmm.
smarter than you. And I'm the one who got you, not the one who got taken down by you. So it does take someone with a strong sense of self to work with me in the game. So I just like really have so much gratitude and respect for people who will work with me because I am a loyal ally in these games and I'm strategic and I'm really good. So if you're on my side and we're working together, that's actually going to be very good for you most of the time.
Hmm. Yeah. And why
Right?
who wasn't it good for?
Um, who wasn't it good for? I don't know. I mean, if you're like Philip didn't in Deal or No Deal.
Hmm.
Philip and I were working together, but then Philip didn't trust me, so he never really was an
Hmm.
ally. Had he been, it would have been good for him. That's the thing. If I lock in with you in the beginning, like you can trust I'm taking you to the end.
Yeah.
Unless
I
you do
can't
some
remember
unless
a
you mess.
time yeah, that you like backstabbed an ally. I'm trying to think back through my like Parvati database and I can't think of anything.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
Not to my people, 'cause that's just like, why? Why would you do that? Unless you're trying to make good television, which I never try to do because I know that the
You don't
reality
have to try.
I don't have to try. I don't have to
You can
try.
just do it.
Yes, you just
Bring up the
do it.
clip of when you were on TV for 1 second, okay?
What's even Oh, that one?
Yes.
My glamour shot?
Mhm. Yeah.
Exactly. You don't have to try so hard. And that's what I would tell any new era player of Survivor because I think they work really hard to get cast. It's taking people 17, 18 times of auditioning to get cast on the show. It's like, okay, once that's over, stop trying and just
Mhm.
be. Just let the game unfold, let the game come to you, play with what is occurring in the moment. Just trust the TV is going to take care of itself when you play the game.
I wanna ask you, so the book has, some famous people who have, written some, recommendations about this book, including Sarah Michelle Gellar says, "A Bible for Badass Women." I know from Instagram you've become friends with Sarah Michelle Gellar. in recent years. Can you talk a little bit about that?
That's my girl. Buffy the Vampire Slayer was a formative experience for me. I wanted to be her. Her love life with Spike and Angel, and then her frenemyship with Faith. Like, Buffy is it. That was me. I mean, my family, we would watch it on Friday nights together as a family. This was like our Survivor. It was like
Was
Buffy.
Buffy?
I love her. She looks exactly the same. She's so cool and just no nonsense. And when I text her, she hits me back right away. And she's like, yeah, I'm filming a movie in Toronto. Like, I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
thanks for texting me back. Like,
But
she's rad.
is she a Survivor fan of yours? Is that how the connection happened?
She's also a Survivor fan and watcher, and her daughter, Charlotte, is a fan of mine. So I met Charlotte the other day when I went to Evan Rosscatt's Chaos Dinner. Sarah Michelle
Hmm.
Gellar was my date. So I went to her
Wow.
house to pick her up, as a true gentleman would.
Yes.
And I brought Charlotte my token bag from season 40 Winners at War. I have like a fire token bag.
Yes. Okay. This is
I
like a
gave that
nice clutch.
I gave it to her as a gift
Yeah.
because I give away my stuff. I'm like, if I have memorabilia, I'm like, what am I going to do with this? So I'll give it away to my friends' kids. Like Adam Grant's kids have buffs of mine that are
Hmm.
dirty game buffs.
By the way, I
Yeah.
had
And
a great conversation with Evan on Drop Your Buffs this week.
oh, he's great.
Yes. And
The
Sean
two of
too.
you together is like a mind meld.
Yes, it was a really fun interview. People should check that out on Drop Your Buffs this week. And they mentioned that you're one of the few people that he would likes to have in his inner circle from the Survivor alumni.
Yeah, I love it. Evan and I, we are kindred spirits.
Hmm.
He's a very fun guy. And I bump into him all the time now.
Now, also, Bowen Yang gave some accolades. Also, Survivor legend and gay icon Parvati Shallow has won my heart all over again. What is your relationship with Bowen Yang?
Well, I met those guys, Bowen and Matt, on Las Culturistas like a few years ago. They interviewed me
Yes.
for their podcast,
Yes.
and they were like huge fans and knew so much about me. It was such a fun interview, and we just stayed in touch. And then they did this Traders
I saw
like
that.
spoof,
Yeah.
yeah, for their Las Culturistas show that they did the live show in New York for their awards show. They've just like gotten really big with their podcast. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I think they're so funny and so much fun and they love Survivor and yeah, it's like a natural connection with
Are
those
you going
people.
on tour with your book?
Yes, I will be going on tour. I'll be hitting different cities all over the US, probably also in Australia, because why not?
Hmm.
Since we'll be doing Survivor Australia out there.
Yes. Okay. So you'll go all over the world and do what? Book signings?
Book signings, talks, meet and greets. Yeah. I'll be doing little readings. I'm reading the audiobook. I'm doing that really
Oh,
soon.
yes. How is that?
Yeah, I've got to read I have 3 days booked out to read the entire audiobook.
Are you doing any
And then
sort of
I
like
feel like,
vocal prep?
well, no, I'll just have like tea.
Yeah. It's not easy to talk for 3 days.
No, I can imagine. You would know.
Yeah. It would be a challenge for me. I would be like trying to get through like a Parvati endurance challenge to try to talk for 3 days.
Yeah, I feel like I'm really good at these kind of intense,
Don't
contained.
dissociate while you're reading the book.
No, I'll feel every ounce of it. So when I speak it, it's a transmission from
Hmm.
my body to your ears.
Yeah. I like when the audiobook readers go off script.
Oh,
Yeah.
go on.
I don't know if they let you do that. You should say like, actually, can I just add something else in here? Like I feel like that really is a nice treat for the readers.
Wait, is that a thing? Do people do that?
Yeah, I listen to a lot of Gary V's books, and he does that a lot. But I think they just
Hmm.
let him do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I don't know how my publisher would feel about
If
that.
I ever write a book, I do want to do that.
It was a painstaking process. I mean, if you're gonna write a book, look, I'll give you the playbook for how to
Yeah,
do
what's it
it.
like to write a book?
It's grueling. It is true. That's the longest endurance challenge I've ever done because it was like a 3-year process. And I had to do some more edits recently. So I'm like, oh my God, can I be done with this book? It's so intense and it really like guts you and carves you out because you have to say no to some really fun stuff.
Like what?
Just
Like other
sit
stuff,
your
like people like, Parvati, can you hang out? Like, no, I have to stay home and write my book.
I was invited to go play Pictionary at the Academy Awards for like the breakfast brunch or something with
Yeah.
Janelle and Bergie, like the traders people. And I was like, sorry guys, I'm on a deadline.
What?
I know. So sad.
Yeah.
So that's what
But
I've traded off to give
are you
this
good
book
at
to the world.
Pictionary?
I don't know, but I love a good silly game like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm not a good artist. No, my daughter's really good though.
Yeah. Now, does Alma watch Survivor?
She's watched a couple of challenges. She's watched the challenge where I hold my arm up for 6 hours,
Yeah.
and she has incorporated that into her life. So
Yeah.
she'll do that just on the reg.
So, yeah, my wife doesn't. My kids watch the new Survivor. My wife doesn't let them watch the Survivor that I was on.
Why?
So it's too inappropriate.
Inappropriate.
Yeah.
This is how we were raised, Rob.
This is how we were raised. That's right.
These kids need to see.
They need to see. They need to see it. She
Need
says
to
no.
learn.
It's inappropriate, and mostly it's me being inappropriate is her problem.
One day they'll be able to watch
One day they're almost old enough to be able to watch.
their
No,
father's legacy.
okay.
Do they want to do podcasting?
So it's funny that my older son, that he has he has a YouTube channel with his friends, and then he was like works on this, and him and his friends may or may not be rapping. Okay, that I'm not promoting it. I don't want anybody to go to it, but that they have this YouTube channel. Okay, and then we were trying to watch a movie. We were trying to watch our mutual friend Joe Manganiello in Nona's, and we were waiting to start the movie on Mother's Day night. And we're like, "Where is Dominic? Where is he?" And I went upstairs and I heard him saying like, "Hey, this is the official podcast of the like name of the band." And I came downstairs and I said, like, he's upstairs. I would yell, but I can't. I'm so proud of him that he's doing the official podcast for his band. And then my younger son said, why does it need to be the official podcast? Is anybody else doing a podcast about the band?
That's so good. He already has a troll.
He's like, there's only one podcast. It does not need to be the official podcast of the band.
And yet he perseveres.
He said that he kept doing it. So I was proud of him for the podcasting, not so much for the rapping.
Well, he's got to add his own flair. He can't copy you straight up.
right. Yeah. But he's part of a rapping group. So we'll
Okay,
keep you posted,
cute.
Parv, on how that goes.
Yeah.
Now, what's next for you? Okay. Of course, we know Australian Survivor, but that's already filmed. Okay. 5 seasons of Survivor in the books. Dondi in the books, the traders in the books. You pop up on the traders now, even when you're not playing. But what are you going to do next? Are there more reality shows to do?
I am doing a podcast called
Yes.
Nice Girls Don't Win with my friend Amy Bean. So that is an ongoing project that people can tune into on every Wednesday. On top of that, now I'm creating and going to be executive producing, pitching shows,
Can I
hosting
ask
shows,
what types of shows are you producing and pitching? Reality
competition shows.
competition shows. Okay.
And then I'm also working on a documentary, but that is about more personal. That's more of my like personal life.
Okay. So you have a game that you are designing?
Uh-huh. Amy and I
Okay.
have created a game. This is a totally new format, never been done before. Very fun, hosted by me and one other person who is a beloved figure in the reality competition community.
Okay.
And we are taking that out to networks to sell that, right? Like
Beloved
as we speak.
figure in the reality community. Okay. All right.
See if you can figure it out.
Is it Billy Garcia?
I was like, who? Candace's boyfriend?
What was that like to have seen that play out in real time?
Oh my God, it was crazy. It was just out of nowhere, and he was, like, kicking the dirt like he was in
Hmm.
the playground, and Candace was like, "Oh," being so sweet, she's like, "Oh, we love you too." And then to watch the tribal where he's like, "I found true love out here, Jeff. I'll go home a happy man." I couldn't. I was like, how can someone be that delusional, like that off base? I mean, since then, I have met many a delusional person. So I
Yeah.
know how people can be that delusional, but that was sort of my first, like, kind of
Hmm.
big intro to that
Yeah.
level of delusion.
Tell me if I'm too in the weeds here, but when rewatching Heroes versus Villains, that you and Candace played together in Cook Islands, was there any opportunity to work together? She votes with the villains, but then she just gets voted out right away after that.
Yeah, I didn't trust any of the heroes. I like, speaking of having a grudge, I was like, I'm gonna burn down every single one of these heroes because Amanda was lying to me. Candace, there was something about, I don't know if Candace like had some issue with me or something, but I feel like we were just not connecting
Hmm.
like we did back in our Cook Islands days. And she was like closer with the boys. So I knew at that point, like Russell kind of had everyone sort of wrapped around his finger. He was selling them so many ideas and lies. And I think at that point where when we'd merged, they had already been had their heels dug in against me by JT, and sort of they had to like fulfill that promise or pledge to him after he was blindsided. They're like, "Oh, we got to get rid of Parv." I think it would have backfired on me if I would have played with Candace.
Okay.
But then she didn't vote for me at the end, and I was like, "Dang, girl, come on."
Can I give you one more Heroes versus Villains question? Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we recently watched the episode where you play the two idols. Perhaps the biggest move in Survivor history when you did that, play the two idols. You have the one idol, Russell gives you the second idol. It's not exactly clear in the episode. At what point do you decide that you are going to do this? It's a surprise to the viewer when it happens. And it seems like that, when you come into the merge, you say people aren't really talking to you. You can sense that it's not really going your way. I think maybe you're thinking, okay, I'll just have to play my idol tonight. But at what point did you come up with the idea to play both of the idols?
Well, Danielle and I had taken a walk to the well and we talked about it. I was like, okay, here's the deal. Like, you're safe. You got the necklace. They're not going to vote for me because they know I have an idol. They're not going to vote for Russell. So it's either Sandra or Jerry. And she's like, well, you got two. And I was like, I know, but I want to keep one. And so it was sort of like she and I had that dialogue because I don't usually come up with stuff in a vacuum. I'm a team player. So when I talk through things with people and then I chew on it for a little bit and then I'll make my decision. Usually that's how it works. Like, I don't just like figure it all out on my own. So I had that chat with her and I was like, yeah, man, I guess if I have to use them both, if I don't have a sense of where the vote is going and tribal doesn't give me any information, then I would be willing to do this, but it leaves me so exposed. And I just trusted that Danielle would have my back after that and that I would have to do damage control with Russell, but he loved me so much. I was like, I think I can get him back even if I burn him with this move. And this would indebt Jerry and Sandra to me. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
it. I'm gonna do it to like build the like good feelings in the relationship with the girls so that they'll, protect me moving forward.
Yeah.
It worked with Jerry.
I think, well, I guess Sandra was still trying to flip to the heroes then after that. And even Russell was still on your side up until, I'm not sure exactly what his breaking point was. I think that maybe when Danielle got the clue to the idol and then he went and stole it from her and then he played it wrong. And then you guys were like, nice going, Russell.
I can't even remember.
Yeah.
I can't even remember that.
Anyway, it was wonderful to watch the first time and it still holds up 15 years later. Okay. ParvatiShallow.com. People can go and pre-order the book. They could go to Parvati's Instagram and they can pre-order the book there. Do people, should they just wait until the book goes on sale, or is there some benefit to do the pre-order now? Because some people like to procrastinate.
Oh, well, if you pre-order it, like you just go on and pre-order it, that helps me with just my like book sales numbers as a first-time author. I want this book to do really well. But what's in it for you is you can get a signed copy of this book. If you go to my Instagram right now, there's a link in my bio to get a signed copy of the book, whether you're in one of the cities that I go to on my tour or not.
Oh.
And you'll get it delivered to your house on the day that the book is available. So if you're like me, I am also a procrastinator, but I have started doing this with like certain items of clothing that I really love. I will put myself on the wait list. This is not a normal thing for me, but I've started to do it. And then I get an email when it's off the wait list and I'm like, yes, oh my God, I'm actually the first to know. And then I get the thing that I really wanted. So I'm finding there's a lot of joy in pre-ordering. So I just want to drop that seed for you, beautiful listeners.
Now, Parvati, you were also saying that there was something special we could do for the RHAP listeners before we came on.
Well, I think for your community, because you and I have been friends for so long and your community is so devoted, I would love to offer something to your community that's really special. So for anyone who buys the book, you pre-order the book and then screenshot the order, and then we're going to put your name into a drawing. So let us know. We'll put your name into a drawing, and then I will have a Zoom call with one of your lucky listeners, whoever wins.
Okay. All right. So if you want to get a Zoom call with Parvati, you know what to do, or FaceTime.
I'll tell you what, Rob, the cameo requests that have been coming through for me are really funny these days.
Okay, why? What are they doing?
I'm on my game. I'm just saying, I'm really on my game.
Okay. Yeah, I've known Parvati for so long that it's what now, like going on 15 years of knowing Parvati. And Parvati, I remember even when Dominic was in utero that you were doing some Reiki healing on Nicole. Do you think that that's what made him be the rapper he is today?
Yeah, I think so. I did send some vibes. I was probably listening to a lot of T-Pain, maybe Nelly at the time. So we got some Mace.
Yes.
It's like spiritual rap.
Well, Parv, I know you're super busy these days, so thank you for making some time to come on and talk with us. Anything else you want to let people know?
Just go listen to my podcast, Nice Girls Don't Win, and then you can always catch up with me on Instagram. I'm posting pretty frequently there.
Okay.
And I can't wait to meet you on my book tour. If you come out to the cities that I'm at. So all that information will be on my...
What cities are you going to? Okay.
I know. Well, it's not fully lined up yet, but for sure New York. And I will be in LA. Our launch party is going to be in LA.
Raleigh?
Oh, should I swing by your house? Should we have have a party at your house?
Sure. Would love it.
Great.
Nicole would be thrilled.
Rob, I got to go pick up my daughter from school.
Okay. All right. So, and then, well, thank you for joining us. Okay.
Okay. Love you. Give Nicole a big hug for me.
Okay.
She's the best.
Bye.
Bye. Can I hang up or do I have to?
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.